Hey, what's going on? Ryan here, Set the Pace Triathlon. I'm here, not where I'm usually at, but upstairs. If you hear the kids in the background, we're all home. We're all hanging out. I guess having a good time as much as you can in these conditions. But I want to do a quick little video talking about some specifics of kind of structuring the unstructurable or putting some structure to the chaos because times like these, if you haven't, personally, I work from home, self-employed, so I've been doing this for a while and kind of developed a structure. But now kids are home all day. We took our 4-year-old out of daycare, so she's home all day while my wife works in administration in a hospital, so she's at work every day. So trying to blend in work and kind of training. I mean, Tulsa's been postponed, so I don't necessarily have a structured training plan necessarily at this point in time. But um, so just lots of variables, right? When I was kind of getting into a groove of things, and now there's no kids activities in the evenings. There's no kids activities, period. But we're doing a Zoom call for my daughter's soccer team so they can meet people. So it's just kind of a different situation right now. But I just kind of want to offer some tips out there, especially like I said, in college when I went to get my master's in structural engineering. You have to be very self-sufficient in being able to structure your time, because if you don't, and especially college, you're going to fall behind. You're going to have issues, bad grades, all this other good stuff. So it's kind of a good lesson in making sure you got that structure in place to make it easier to have that self-discipline to get things done and done it properly. So if you're kind of the same boat as me, the kids are home, you're home doing work, and you got to mix all that in somehow. What's kind of the best way to get that done? Especially, in the background, you want to do triathlon, you still want to keep up your fitness, you still want to do your workouts. So we're going to go through a few tips here that I got kind of scribbled down. So I call this the new normal. I know some people hate that label, but I mean, this is right now for the foreseeable future. They've recommended social distancing until April 30th. Everything's kind of shut down as far as any kind of activities outside of grocery stores and getting your prescriptions from Walgreens or CVS around here. So first thing I would recommend is to talk to the stakeholders, which could be kids or your spouse or whoever's got say in it, and develop a schedule. So this is a color code schedule, and by no means is this going to be the end all be all, rigid. We're going to have a timer. It's like school, a buzzer goes off every hour, but this has at least some sort of rhyme or reason to the day. And this is a second iteration. We've kind of gone through and we're trying to time things that have worked for everybody, because about 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock we have snack time. Well, that doesn't work if you're going to have a snack and then go do physical fitness or something. So we went and revamped it. So the first point is make a schedule, and you may take a few iterations to get it right. And especially, I mean, we're in week 3 of our situation right now. So if you've been there longer, maybe you have developed a schedule, or if you've been there a shorter amount of time, write it down. Make sure everybody knows, everybody see it. Right now, the kids, they get a little bit bored. If anything lasts more than an hour, about 45 minutes into it, they're like, oh, is this academic time or is this activity time? We're ready for the next thing. We're tired of doing this, that, and the other. Worst case, our lunch time's kind of some downtime, and you just plug them in iPads and they'll do that all day. But at the end of the day, that's not probably the best thing to do with them. But that's another thing is kind of letting go of a few of the stricter things you had, being less strict. It's like, we kind of let them have more screen time than they normally would, more iPad time, more time watching movies. We try to, a certain time, it's like, okay, no more iPads. I don't care if you watch a movie, or if the weather's nice, go play in the backyard. We're fortunate to have a backyard. We've got a play set out there. Go out and play in the backyard. We don't care what you do. You can sit on a tree stump and stare up at the sky, but be outside. Especially if it's nice. It's getting nice here in Kansas City. The weather is above freezing, and it's in the 60s and 70s today. So after this, we're going to go. Kids are going to ride their bike. I want to do my run. So we're going to combine our training. So that's another thing, is kind of combine things that you can get them out, and we're going to try to find a little creek where the kids can kind of play in there, and I can just kind of run around and see them the whole time. That way they're not completely kind of just bored out of their mind just doing a bike ride, because not all kids appreciate just doing straight workouts. So that's another one. So the schedule, and then putting some structure to your day, like I said. And if you got your kids in there, you've got to get their buy-in, and basically, my situation revolves around the kids. So my wife goes to work. I'm in charge of everything, and while it's not that big of a deal, I'm very grateful to have the opportunity that I work from home, and then we can kind of do this option, especially when school got canceled. So Just have that plan and make sure the kids are involved in it. If if you're in a situation where you just like, okay, go to your room and plug in the iPad or whatever, and you don't see them until the end of the day, you know, that'll probably let you get your stuff done. But at the end of the day, you're not going to be probably as connected as you want to with your kids, and it's just it's gonna perpetuate over time, and it could be a problem. But I see this as a good opportunity to stay connected with your kids and actually spend more time with them. So I'd hate for the end of it that they look at me and like, oh God, thank God school's back because I don't want to spend all day with you. See if I get a reaction on that. Yeah, they're plugging their iPads. I don't even care. So that's another one. So if you got the kids in there, especially with that structure and pattern, that really helps them out, helps them understand where they kind of fit into the day too. Because it's okay to look at them and say, hey, I've got to concentrate. I've got to do some stuff. So you're gonna, unless the house is burning down or somebody's falling off the top rail into the stairs, I need to be left alone and be able to get this stuff done. So the other one is be flexible. So you do have your schedule and do have your setup. Be flexible. There's some days that we don't even follow this very close at all. Maybe we get lunch at the right time according to our schedule. Even if you have a schedule or whatever for yourself and doesn't involve the kids, be flexible. If something takes a little bit longer, one of your work activities, or it took you, suddenly it's like, oh, Instacart is going to take 3 days, so I need to go to the grocery store now. Have the flexibility to have things pop in there that you're not really counting on. So just kind of roll with the flow as much as possible these days, because the only constant right now is change. Everything seems to change daily. And when we're on the other side of this, it's going to probably change very slow. So you need to find a situation that works best with you, and don't be so rigid that if things change or don't change or whatever, that you're just going to go nuts because you will go nuts. The other is more on the athletic side is trying to get, keep a schedule for your workouts. If you got up at 5 o'clock every morning, even though you may be working from home, don't have that, 30-minute commute or something, still get up at the same time. Still go to bed at the same time. It's not summer vacation. It's not spring break. You're working. The kids, by this time, our kids have got stuff from school to do. So get up at the same time, get your workouts done, take care of what you need to do in the morning, and then roll into the day. I'm trying to get up about 5:15, 5:20, so I'm a little bit later than I normally would. And then by 6:45, I'm done with my workout, so I'm getting upstairs, I'm getting the kids settled, ready for breakfast, and get everything kind of rolling. And then my wife's out the door, and then we're rolling into academics time and fitness. So I'm getting my stuff taken care of. We do some of the fitness stuff together. Like I said, this afternoon we'll go out and do I'll run and they'll ride their bikes. So we try to incorporate some of that stuff, but doing very sophisticated or structured workouts just isn't a realistic option right now. If they're running around the house or something like that, and you got to supervise a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old, so you can't just leave them be. Plug them in iPads or something. So keep normality. What you're doing before, keep doing what you're doing, and then you've got extra time. So if that commute took 30 minutes or something like that, or if getting ready took 30 minutes and your commute took 30 minutes, now getting ready only takes 15 minutes because you only got to get the top half ready for conference calls, right? So, now you've got more time to work with, so your day can start a little bit earlier. So instead of getting to work at 8 or 8:30 or something, your day starts at 7:30, 8 o'clock. So just make sure you use that time and build your cushions and all your other stuff going on for the day. And the last one I want to hit you with is, don't see this as an excuse for, if you're like Ironman Tulsa has been postponed, don't see this as an excuse to just go completely off the rails. Like, my training plan's hosed, everything's hosed. I'm just gonna, treat it like it's Thanksgiving and Christmas and eat what I want and do what I want and just kind of like go off the rails. You'll regret it once you get down the road and wish that you had stayed on some sort of plan of some sort. So stay on your training plan of some sort. A lot of my athletes, I'm putting them kind of more of an off-season program, maintain that fitness so they find out when their races are going to actually happen, if they're going to do them. They're at a point where they'll be ready if a race is going to happen for sure and all this kind of goes away, that they can ramp up to their distances whenever because a lot of them have been pushed back to the fall. So making sure they're ready for that. Eating normal, don't go through your stockpile that you've went and got out before this whole thing started. Eating all your snacks and everything, your doomsday snacks. Don't eat them all in one day, especially if you're working from home. That is a difficult part, is being at home near the fridge. So boredom will lead to probably going and rummaging through the fridge for snacks. So make sure you're dedicated. Your breakfast, have snacks at 10, especially with kids. They're constantly hungry, so we put it until 10. And then about 11:30 is lunch, and 3 o'clock is the next snack time. And then we have dinner about 5:30, 6 o'clock. So try to stick to that plan. Try to, get food when you go to the grocery store or do your ordering or whatever. Get stuff that you normally would eat that's healthy. Right now, I can go to my grocery store, everything's there, it's not a problem. Don't go off the rails and start getting donuts for breakfast. And if you did that anyway, then hey, stay on the plan. But don't see this like, oh, well, now it's just like Pop Tart City and I'm just going to go to let it all go to crap. Don't do that because you'll regret it down the road. So that's kind of my in a summary of that's kind of a way to deal with the new normal, because I have been self-employed now for a while and worked from home, done other jobs from home, and you've got to find a situation set up that will get you as successful as possible, especially if your kids are home with you all day, because that's another factor. So if you're at the end of this video, rewatch from the start and you'll be able to get all my comments. You want to schedule, you want some structure to the day, some kind of an outline, but keep flexibility. If things change, build in extra fluff time, because everything lasts longer than you originally planned for. Make sure the kids are involved in the planning, because if you're home with them all day and they don't like the plan, they're going to fight it all the way. Like I said, be flexible, be very flexible. I mentioned that twice. And then keep your training and your nutrition, your eating as normal as possible. If you're getting up at 5 every day, get up at 5. If you're having breakfast at 7 o'clock every day, 7 o'clock. If you're being diligent about what you're eating, you're doing meal prep, keep doing your meal prep and keep being diligent about your eating. Don't go off the rails. Just soak in being able to work from home if that's your opportunity, or if unfortunately you've been like furloughed or something, absorb that time, build in buffers for other things going on, and then on the other end of this, you'll be set up for success when your races are rescheduled and everything kind of comes back to a normal situation. That's my comments. If you got any questions or anything, put them in the comments. I'll be happy to get back to you, and stay tuned for the next chat. Hope everybody's training is going well and everybody's doing well. Stay healthy.